Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk, guys. Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. We got Noble Wolf. Noble Wolf is platooned with Shotokan. What's that name there? Shotokan from Clan Film. He's in his Renegade. Shotokan is in his VK 100-01. Sent me this video and said this should have worked, which I didn't quite understand because it did work, but more or less. The road less traveled, folks. We have two heavies, albeit bottom tier heavies, who are going right up the middle. Hey, diddle diddle, right up the middle. I've talked a lot about this in the past. You know, there are high percentage plays, there are low percentage plays. But when you look at your tiering, you look at the match, you look at the tanks out there, sometimes the unusual play is a higher percentage play based on the setup. Now, they are low tier, but what's interesting about this is two heavies going through the middle, causing all kinds of issues for light tanks, is an interesting concept on steeps. That's right, that's how you pronounce it. It is steeps. So let's see how these guys do this, because right now they're chasing away the RHM PZW, the LT432, and those two light tank drivers have to be saying, son of a biscuit. They're probably none too happy. And what's interesting about this is, more than likely, most of the enemy team has gone to the flanks. My only concern really would be that maybe the FV is sitting up on the hill up here. It actually turns out he's not, because you can see he was last lit over there on the east flank. Now, the problem though, so let's do the devil's advocate. The problem with this kind of move is that they have weakened whichever flank they normally would have gone to, and you can see that their eastern flank is really weak. But all of a sudden they are in and amongst the enemy team, and what that's going to do is, as long as they are strong enough, and right now they've got some decent hit points, and they're both heavies with pretty good guns, so most everything in this game has to at least worry about them a little bit. What they have done is they have caused the enemy team to react to that, and that is drawing power off of those flanks. So while, yes, they left the eastern flank weakened with where they went, they've been aggressive enough that they've pushed in and caused issues for the enemy team. And the great news here is that they're taking out artillery. I would not top this hill right there. That was extremely dangerous, especially with an FV and a bunch of other tanks over there. So now the enemy team has to make a decision on where to go. This is, for me, right here where it gets a little bit interesting, and maybe this is the it should have worked part, because he does lose his wingman in here eventually. They're doing a nice job keeping him busy. Already he's going crazy. This 13105, by the way, good job on the Vulture act with him. He saw what was going on. He followed up those two heavies, and with the chaos those two guys were creating, he gets in there and creates even more with his mobility. So that's fantastic. So going back to what I was talking about just a second ago, about this is the interesting part. When you guys first started working this middle part and kind of going after a bunch of hold down guys, a la the FV that just nuked your buddy with HE or whatever he used right there, I almost thought, you know, what I might do is go back, because we have an issue starting to develop over on the east side. But you've definitely split the forces, right? So it's very interesting. And you can see that on the west side, which I haven't mentioned yet. Yeah, let's just talk about that for a minute. Be careful about giving guys side. I'm not really sure what you were looking at over on that side. You got your turret completely turned. I don't know if you didn't lock your turret forward while going out, but the Sturv just got a nice shot into the side of your turret right there. So I haven't talked about the west side, which is starting to win, and I think maybe what you were thinking here was, hey, let's go ahead and give the west side some time. I cannot believe that he got that shot. That was, I would not have said that tumor was that high, but clearly it was. Holy cow. Good shot by the Sturv. So you may have been thinking, hey, let's give those guys a little bit of time, and then once they come around, so I don't really have to run away. In addition to that, about the time I went, boy, you really need to go back now, they killed one of the lead tanks or a couple of lead tanks, and all of a sudden we have a huge advantage. So I don't think there's any real reason to leave right now. I mean, eventually you start coming around the middle. I think that was the right answer. Kind of backing up there. Be careful about challenging the Sturv. All he needs to do is see that tumor, and he's going to take a shot. Highly accurate tank. So I thought this was a good idea. Come around the inside, or the outside, as it were, of these hills right here. And I haven't mentioned it yet, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody fire as much in the third person as Noble Wolf does, and seems to have pretty good effect. But my problem with it is, in a case like that, maybe you can judge it better than I can. I had no idea where he was in regards to the ground. but it's crazy because I can see you highlighting guys so far away with that third person. I don't know. Maybe it's just better eyesight and twitch skills. That one's got me a little flummoxed, to be quite honest. But you're making it work. We've got 1,000 assists and 1398 in damage, and we've created a nice little advantage for ourselves. Looks like the guys that pushed in from the west got a little bit beat up trying to do that. So that the problem here is that this is a pretty good hold down position, and what you need is this. I don't know what on earth this JPZ 100 is doing. My goodness gracious. This game is over. He needs to be moving, and he's got a friend back there with him. Is it the Sturvs? Yeah, it must be the Sturv. So he and the Sturv are still, and the JT are still at the cap. It, I don't. That's a whole nother video, isn't it, folks? It really and truly is a whole nother video. What is the J? Shall we digress just a little bit? What exactly is he expecting? What does he think is going on in this battle right now? Port yourself into the JPZ E100's brain, and what? Yeah, sorry, I'm a little verklempt still. What exactly is going through this guy's head right now? You know what I mean? There's all four of the tanks, all four of the enemy. Now the Centurion was not spotted for a while, but who cares? It's a Centurion. Just drive off that set. It's a Centurion 7-1 noted. Drive off that thing, go towards him. He's going to shoot a couple times, get lit. There's a JT, there's a Sturv, there's Artie. I mean, it's... Anyway, let's go on. That's enough of that. So we're doing a nice little job of poking. Wow. I was a little bit afraid that FE was going to nuke you right there. Excuse me. So we're poking here. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about this micro position within this position. I think you're doing a nice job of the hold down thing right here, but see how angled this part of the ground is? This tank does have good depression, but you're struggling a little bit with it. I think if you shifted slightly right, where it's a little flatter, you might have found yourself having much better shots on this guy's turret. Just feels like you have to come up a little higher than you want to. So if you just go, it's over there. Shift over to the right slightly. Just right over there a little bit, about where the road is. I think you would have been able to create yourself a much nicer shot, and we finally kind of go that way, and then we go straight up the incline again. I'm like, no, go over there. Get over there. Nice job trying to not get killed. There's that almost zoom. That was almost a zoom shot. Man, we're just cranking up the assists now. We got 25. We got 3,000 assists. This poor guy is hating life. Now, can we go back? They finally started moving, but how long has it been since I mentioned it? What are they doing? The poor WZ-120 is probably thinking, my goodness gracious, I have been left out to dry up here. The rest of the guys that won are dead. Mostly, frankly, because the TDs Campa-Lampa-Ding-Donged back there in the back for way, way too long. That was amazing. So we see a shifting over here. I think probably some of the reason you're not getting too crazy over here is probably not really knowing where the Centurion is, but then he gets lit. And I like this right here. This is a good spot for a zoom shot, man. You're going to third person it. I'm going to pause it right here. I think if you just zoomed in like that, I don't know. See, that's my problem with the third person. You didn't have a great idea of what you were aiming at. You ended up hitting the turret. And if you'd come up just a little bit more and zoomed in, I think you'd have popped him right into the side. I'm not saying change completely what you're doing, but maybe try to throw that in on certain situations where you need to know where the ground is or where the train or the building or whatever it is that they're being covered up with. Sometimes a little bit closer zoom in. It doesn't have to be, you know, to the pixel. Sometimes a little bit closer one. Wow, we dodged a bullet there, didn't we? We'll give you the information that you need. The FE is probably cursing his gun right now. And I mean, they're just... Here they come. Eventually, the Centurion 7-1 sneaks a shot into... I looked at it too, dude. I don't know what he hit. Oh, he went right through the... That was crazy. Okay. I wonder if that's just modeling. If he actually hit... If it actually considered that it hit your tumor... Or if he really went through that angled part, that maybe that's top armor. I don't know. That was nuts. Surprised me too. I was looking for a shot right into the tumor, but it actually, the modeling shows it going to the turret. But who knows if that's what the hitbox was hit. If that was the hitbox that was hit. Look, these guys just slowly creeping in. Oh man, I mean, frankly, they don't deserve any of these hit points. Why are we firing HE? Or, oh my goodness gracious! All right, probably worried about the turret and just wanted to get some damage off the guy. We're gonna speed this up because actually he's not done yet. No kills for Noble Wolf until he snakes one from them right here. Boom, with that third person, nicely done. 1,973 damage, 3,143 assists. He said it didn't work. I'm assuming it didn't work in that both his teammates or both his platoon lived or some such. But I thought it was a really interesting way to come at this map. It's different than the high percentage play, but it really changed the flow of this game very differently than what you might see with having two tier. Now he very well could have gone up the middle, had the FV and another big tier 9 or tier 10 guy return back there really fast and just completely destroy them down in the pit. But that's a chance you take sometimes when you do these unusual strats, and it ended up working out right here. So I'm assuming that had they seen a lot of opposition, they probably would have pulled back. But even that would have been an advantageous for their team, right? Because that draws that power off from the flanks over there. So it's a good idea. It's an interesting idea. Be very careful though when you apply this. One of the reasons it works so well is they were on a platoon. Let me just put that. I was going to say put that up front, but we're at the end of the video. When there are two of you working together doing strats like that, it is much, much better, 2 or 3, than just taking your single tank. Usually, a single heavy droning up that is, I mean, not even usually, most times, is going to get absolutely hammered. As a matter of fact, those 2 light tanks would jump all over a single heavy tank and take them out. But with 2 of them there, they're not really interested in going in there and trying to take them on. So thanks for sending that, Noble. I thought that was pretty cool. It's always nice to see people use different strats on maps, and it is instructive, so thank you for that. Appreciate you guys' support of the channel. If you're looking for other ways to do so, throw me a subscribe, but if they want some other ways, down in the description you can find multiple ways to do that. I'm Guido, this is Tactics Talk, and we will see you.